my part is a research objective. Firstly, to identify the level of usage for television program. Second, to identify the effect of element present in television program. Lastly, to study whether there are significant difference based on gender according to the element present in the television programs. Okay, the next part is a research question. There are some research questions have suggest. Firstly, what is the level of usage for television program? Second, what the effect of violence, horror, and love element that present in television program? Then, what are the significant difference based on gender according to the element present in the television program? Okay, the next part is significance of the study. It is important to parents because it can provide information on the usage and effect the influence the violent, horror, and love behavior for their children. Second, important for educator to think that the way to guide and help their student. Lastly, can know whether watching violence, horror, and love elements. Then the next part is the scope of the study. This study focused among second year students in Bachelor of Arabic Language and Islamic Literature with honors in University Science Islam Malaysia. Okay, the next part is the term of the study. First, the influences electronic media, that is television. Second, electronic media such as radio, television, VCD, and DVD. Then artist character in production such as movie, drama. Then violence problem in behaviors, horror storytelling internet to scare or shock. Then love a range of strong and positive emotional and mental states. The last is student from University Science Islam Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Ahmad Ammar Muhammad Yusof 1171161. Now I will present about chapter 2, which is literature review, who has found 3 aspects from previous study that are also related to our study, which is the term of violence, love, and horror. First of all is violence. Zulhazmi bin Azali 2010 aims to study about violence in the media and its effect towards the aggressive behavior of students. She used quantitative method by distributing forms of questionnaire towards Form 5 students, which led her to a conclusion where violence in the media do not cause students to behave aggressively in physical, verbal, emotional, and sexual form, but only to cause students to behave aggressively in the form of hostility. From the love aspect, Zohana HPP 2013 aims to examine the values found in television advertisement published by Ministry of Communication and Multimedia Malaysia, based on practice of 16 ratio which nilai murni put forward by the Ministry of Education MOE in the teaching of Malay language. Here, qualitative method is used in analyzing content or text by examining the values found in the television advertisement. She has found that there are many values that can be obtained from the advertisement in the television. Hence, it can be said that all of these values can influence society in their societal life. Lastly is the horror aspect. Zuhdi 2014 aims to evaluate the effect of ghost belief on teenagers and determine its relation to horror films. He was using quantitative method in collecting data and found that source of information from television and film have significant positive relationship with belief in ghosts. Teenagers gain a lot of information about ghosts comes from it. The finding of the literature study before show that television is the mass media that teenagers are interested in. Apart from that, important concerning the elements of message in the television that leads to knowledge are very essential for teenagers to become more positive and open-minded. So now, I will pass to the next presenter. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Fadhlullah bin Adnan, 1171155. So now I will tell about our conceptualization. The first concept is the appeal of television program. The act of watching television can change an individual's personality because the change that take place in the audience will push them either in a positive or negative direction depending on the storyline chosen. The film can influence society because it is an audiovisual that can influence the cognitive of the audience indirectly. Next, the content or storyline of the film also plays a role in influencing For example, are violent, horror, and romantic genre. Thus, the existence of various film genres also produce each film genre plays a different role, such as in shaping the personality. Next is the definition of the element violence. According to the National Television Violence Study, television are any overt depiction of the use of physical force intended physically harm an animate being or group of beings. The influence of mass media on the social problems of teenagers is indeed significant. Mass media refers to newspapers, magazines, radio, television, and video shows. The children and teenagers who are exposed will exhibit violent and aggressive behaviors in daily life. However, not all violence is equal because while some violent content can convey an anti-violent message, according to this National Television Violence Study, only 4% of the programs coded had a strong anti-violence theme in the 1995 to 1996 session. So the next definition is definition of elements horror. The definition of the genre of horror differ. Many authors have tried to create a definition that will be completely distinguish and separate horror from the similar and close genres, science fiction and thriller. So, the Dominic Trinity created the following definition that characterizes horror as a genre that represents the need for suspicion if the horror shown is interpreted as experiencing uncomfortable and disturbing desires which need to be contained. Horror is a varied genre that is hard to be defined by one single definition, and therefore the most accurate is the one that defines horror through each of its categories. Graham 1995, Asa Sarji 2003, and Mirza 2004 stated various of definitions of element love. So, love is a good method in forming a social interaction that can make the background harmonious. Emotional control can also be stabilized when there is an element of humor in a discussion. This is because some form of entertainment can.
Hi, my name is Muhamad Zahirup. I would like to present about the theoretical perspective. We use two theory in our research, which is theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Theoretical framework. This shows the theoretical framework relate to the study conduct. The study was conducted to identify the influence of television on violence, horror, and love behavior amongst university students. First, modeling theory. Most human behavior is learned through imitation as well as the presentation of example of behavior. Second, social learning theory. Learning that occurs by observing others do something or make someone a model of behavior. This means that the environment as well as the people will significantly influence behavior. Next, behavioral theory. Human behavior is controlled by reward and reinforcement or from the environment. Thus, in learning behavior, there is a close connection between the behavior and its stimuli. Conceptual framework. This shows the conceptual framework relate to this research that will be conducted. The statement describes the framework of this concept. Studies will conduct to identify the level of usage for television program and their effect, especially the elements of violence, horror, and love. This study also want to identify that there are significant difference or not between men and women relate to the level of usage of television program. The usage of television, which is actors, situation, action, imitate, movie, and drama. Next, the effect of television, which is violence, horror, and love. Lastly, the difference of genders, which is men and women.
I'm Hasbullah bin Azali 1171062. The research design in this research is a quantitative approach. A quantitative approach is used with the aim to collect data that is quantifiable and quantifiable. When the researchers prefer in testing the relationship between variables, they will be using quantitative method. The quantitative approach is used as the primary method in obtaining data to achieve the objectives of this research as mentioned by the researchers in the first chapter. For the quantitative approach, the researcher used the method of questionnaire form to the respondents. In this research, there are two research methods used by the researcher in conducting this research. The first one is library method. The library method is used to conduct literature review. Through this method, past studies are physically accessed in the library of USIM and virtually through a database subscribed by USIM such as ProQuest Central and Scopus. The virtual access meant by the researchers through online searching that related to television. The second one is questionnaire method in relation to the quantitative approach taken by the researcher in the research. The questionnaire will be used as a method to obtain information to answer the research question that have been drafted. For this research, the researchers have prepared a set of questionnaires containing 4 sections, which section A, B, C, and D. This questionnaire will be distributed to the respondents. Then about the sampling procedures, the population in this research that will used by the researchers, which is students from the Faculty of Major Language Studies, either male or female. The researchers will choose the second year student in Bachelor of Arabic Language and Islamic Literature with honors as sample in this research. In addition, the researchers also will use the stratified sample. The number of sample of this research is 97 respondents based on Ritchie and Morgan method. So the researchers of the study will choose the number of samples according to the tutorial class in this semester. Furthermore, the researchers use about 35 items in the questionnaire form for the data collection. Then the researchers take the items of the questionnaire from the English language and translate it into Malay language using the back translation method suggested by Brisley. To ensure the respondents may understand all the items included in the questionnaire. There are 4 sections in this questionnaire form. Besides that, we go to the next research instrument, which is pilot test. The pilot test will conduct to identify the suitability of the questionnaire before distribute it to the respondent of this research. So the researchers will conduct a pilot test on third year students in Bachelor of Accounting from Faculty of Economy and Muhamad, FAM. A total of 30 respondents from this faculty were selected to answer this questionnaire to test the validity and reliability of the research instrument that take about 5 minutes and 11 seconds per respondent. Next, the researchers choose the descriptive analysis and t-test analysis in data analysis technique. The researchers will use descriptive analysis to collect the converging variables and place them in a smaller numbers of factors. After that, data will be keyed into the SPSS software. Then the researchers will perform the Cronbach alpha to show reliability and validity, either good or no. In addition, the researchers also will use the t-test analysis to identify the differences between the gender of the sample, either which are male or female, and the level of usage for television programs among the respondents. Lastly, as we have been discussed before this, the questionnaire must be tested for validity and reliability before being distributed to the respondents. Therefore, the value of Cronbach alpha reliability coefficient is used in this research through the findings of information from the pilot test. Cronbach alpha analysis method performed when the study data is in ordinal form, so that the reliability of the research items can be identified by the researchers. The minimum value of Cronbach alpha for study of a quantitative approach is usually 0.6. If the value of Cronbach alpha exceeds the minimum value, the researchers can continue this research by distributing the questionnaire form to the actual respondent or actual sample of this research.